What's your biggest failure?
Oh, biggest failure. I'd have to think about that one. Oh, wow.
You ever been broke?
I have been broke.
Like broke.
Yeah. So
as an adult.
Well,
because it's different when you're an adult.
Yes and no. So when 9/11 happened, I mean, we were pretty much abandoned. There wasn't it wasn't like a golden parachute or anything like that. And so I ended up back in Ohio, literally in the hood. It's bad because I know some of these people are going to listen to this.
You can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Yeah.
I just want to take a second to thank SMA Support Services for being a sponsor of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate everything that you do. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Be Authentic or Get the Fuck Out. I'm your host, Eric Obrecht. Excited to be back here. We're back in the new studio, season 7. This episode here has been a long time coming. I couldn't be more fucking excited to film this episode with a friend of mine, somebody that I'm truly excited to get to know better while he's here. One thing that we do now for our favorite people is we write introductions for our favorite people. So we wrote an introduction. So I'm going to give you a real introduction of who's on the show today. So fucking get ready, okay? Because here it comes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce someone who's reshaped how contractors and home improvement businesses approach sales. A man who doesn't just coach reps, but drives sales transformation from the field to the executive suite. Chuck Thokey is the co-founder of Top Rep Sales and Leadership Training, where he's mentored small to large home improvement organizations to increase their sales by 50 to 200% using his proven systems. That's a lot of fucking percents, everybody. Before stepping fully into coaching, Chuck served as VP of Sales at American WeatherTech, one of the fastest growing exterior remodeling companies in Ohio, and many others that we're going to talk about. He's also built and managed large teams in the home services space, turning underperforming groups into top producing sales forces. In his speaking and coaching work, Chuck focuses on the prospect's experience, strategic closing, and building a high performance sales culture that sustains growth, not just bursts. Please join me in welcoming Chuck Thokey, a sales trainer, mentor, author, and keynote speaker who's on a mission to elevate what's possible in home services sales. Chuck, welcome to the show.
Man, thank you. This has been a long time coming.
It has. I'm super excited that you're here. Thank you for, just so everybody understands, Chuck took time out of his crazy ass fucking schedule, because you do have a crazy ass schedule.
It is crazy.
You bebop around the country everywhere all the fucking time.
Yeah, and my wife gets to see me every now and again.
Is that good for your marriage?
It is not.
Really?
It is not. At first, it was kind of cool because the absence makes the heart grow. Yeah. Well, after a while, it gets old.
Yeah.
And she starts to complain.
Because how long? To finish that statement, I want everybody to know. Like, Chuck took time out of his schedule to get on a plane, fly here to Omaha just to hang out here in the studio so that we could hang out, so you guys could learn more about Chuck, not just what he does, but who he is and why he does it. Because that's the real question that I really like to ask, is why people do, what they do, not just what they do. And we're going to get the time to sit here for an hour or whatever it is and talk, and then, go have dinner and do our stuff. And that's really one of the reasons that I started this show. So you're fucking welcome, everyone, that you get to participate in that. But back to that, it's been interesting because, I travel a decent amount. A lot of people ask me why, and it's a hell of a question because I don't really need. It's weird, like with the business that I have,
right?
I don't need to, but I do. It's odd, but what I will say is that there is a fine line, right?
Yes.
Because me leaving does help our marriage, right? Because I'm not upper ass all the fucking time.
Right.
And so when I come back, it's like, oh, you're home, and she actually wants me there. But if I'm home for more than like 2 weeks, she's like, you probably fucking need to go somewhere, don't you? Like, so I don't know if you get that or not.
I would have to say that there is a healthy amount of travel, and then there's an unhealthy. Like last year, I gave 72 speeches last year.
No shit.
And people think that, like, oh my gosh, I don't even know if there's that many events in roofing. I says, I do roofing, I do windows, I do baths, I do, youth speaking. I mean, there's.
So, okay. Selfish time. So everybody can check the fuck out if they want to. At dinner tonight, though, this is something I want to pick your brain about, and I'll fucking do it now. And sorry, everybody, but this is something that I'm trying to actually dig into because there's millions of events, right?
Oh my gosh, there's
millions of events. And ever since I started speaking and started doing like some keynotes and things like that, I have really been working very hard to get to have more opportunities to be able to do that. Cause I think that I bring value to an audience and I can help them with some things that they might be missing out on. Right. Like I truly do believe that it's not an ego thing or a vanity thing. Like I truly do want to like impact more and more people. And one of the things that you get caught up on though, is that a lot of us live in this like small bubble and it's like, oh, there's only 5 or 6 events. You know what I mean? It's like, and then I sat there one day and I'm like, well, I've spoken to all of them.
Right.
Right. And so then it's trying to figure out okay, well, what are the events? How do you go after them? Who do you talk to? You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
How do you get to those people? And like, that's gotta be a job in and of itself.
It is.
Do you have somebody helps you with that?
Well, I'm starting to now.
Okay.
For many different reasons, not just to find me more, but to find the right ones.
Yeah.
Because I've been in some of the smaller events.
Yeah.
Have gotten me more. I'm going to Cabo here in a week for an event that I spoke at 2 years ago. And that's where I met Spencer Boyd, which is the NASCAR team that we now sponsor. That's where I met Brandon Vaughn, Top Rep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, we sponsored a couple of races for Spencer Boyd.
Oh.
And so we really got the chance to get to know. But it was funny, during this Cabo trip, he was there, I was there keynoting. Well, I had my whole family there, so he just kind of joined the family the entire week. And so we hung out for the week.
Oh, that's cool.
So I got a chance to get to know him kind of the same way I got a chance to get to know Jordan Belfort. Him and I got trapped in a hotel in Nashville. The only ice storm to ever hit Nashville, him and I were there, and we literally ate the place out.
Really?
Because the only thing left to eat
might not be
was
the best
Annie
phrase.
Ann's.
That might not be the best phrase to use, but yeah, that's fine.
When you're talking about him, you're probably right.
Jay.
Like, yeah, probably not. But yeah, I think by the time we were ready to leave, I think the only restaurant there that had anything was Annie Ann's.
And how did you get along with him?
He was a little different. He
He
very
just doesn't
arrogant.
seem like somebody that you would jive with.
He's
right?
very arrogant. My wife hates him.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just don't see you hang out with arrogant guys, getting along with arrogant guys like that. You know what I mean?
I can usually get along with just about anybody.
Yeah, you know what I mean,
After
though.
a couple of days, I can get old.
Right. A couple of days.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you got way more fucking patience than I do.
Oh, I've got some stories that probably shouldn't be on here, but I mean, it's just crazy some of the stuff that he would share in the middle of dinner. Yeah.
I'm not surprised, though. Yeah. I'm not surprised.
With and at that time, it was a couple of years ago, so my kids were pretty young.
Oh, and they were with you.
They were there. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. And he was just telling super inappropriate stories. Yeah, I love it. I kind of like that, but yeah, like I like it, but I don't, but but I do. So you're bebopping around all over the country. Mm-hmm. And you told me something before we started. So you said you grew up with a learning disability. Is that right? Tell everybody about that. You said and then you got into, I don't even know what the fuck you said you did after that.
So, growing up, in school, I didn't grow up with the class with all the other kids. I was kind of kept separate, not completely separate, but we were in learning disabled classes, so they were very small classes.
Okay. Were you in a bigger town?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it was a town called Trotwood, Ohio.
Okay.
So and so inside of the school, I just didn't learn like the other kids. I didn't learn as fast. Everything, when I would read, I just wasn't paying attention. I could say the words, but that's all I was saying was just, I could read. I just couldn't understand what the heck I was reading.
Okay.
And so it really kept me away from the other kids some of the time. And so from there, I got into these. There was in what was it sophomore year, we went for a tour of the Career Technology Center. It's the JBS, and they had these new classes for more gifted students were the engineering. And so as we're going through, I says, man, I really want to get into this. And they're like, Chuck, you're kind of LD. You had LD classes, and these are for gifted kids. I'm like, what are they going to do? Tell me no? I've been told no my entire life. So,
and how old were you?
I was probably, gosh, what was I, 14 at the time?
Okay, so like middle school, high school, starting high school. Okay.
Yeah, and sophomore year. And so we're going into our junior year. So you have your junior and senior year with this. And so I got the chance to take this test to go into these classes. And it took me all 4 hours to take the test. I mean, literally the moderator was asleep when I was done, but I still barely, but I did pass. So I got into these classes. And so got through 2 years of electronic engineering. And by the time I was 19, I was at a company called Learjet in Bombardier.
Yeah.
They make the RJs that you fly in, most of the business jets. And I was an aerospace engineer for Learjet.
What does that mean, an aerospace engineer? Like,
So
what did you actually do?
The actual name for what I was a functional test engineer. So what I would do is once the plane was built, I told the technicians what to do to test the plane out so that it would fly.
And that information came from where?
So once most of the manufacturers, so all the different boxes that would go into it.
Yeah.
So we had to design the schematics for where those wires. I mean, millions and millions of
yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
crazy.
tedious shit.
It's very, yeah. And so what we would have to do is we had to test the aircraft. So we make the aircraft think that it was flying. We actually had to pull the gear up. We had to make sure the spoilers could come up, the flaps, everything. So we had to understand how the plane flew. And but it was an amazing job. Probably the most fun job you could ever have in aerospace.
Really?
Because it's like playing a video game, but you're actually in that the aircraft doing it.
And what led you out of that?
So 9/11. So 2 planes go flying into a building, and that kind of tragedy, and they didn't need engineers for a while. So actually,
now why is that? Why didn't they need engineers for a while?
Well, nobody's buying aircraft
Because nobody was buying aircraft. Yeah. Really? Yeah.
So
I guess I never really thought of the ramifications of that. Yeah.
A number of us got laid off.
Okay.
And mostly a lot of the newer engineers, because it was a union shop. So our union business. So a lot of the newer engineers got laid off. So I went from there, went into Cessna. Cessna had their big layoff, went into, so finally we decided to come back to Ohio, and there's not much going on. They say it's the home of aviation. There's no aviation going on in Ohio, by the way. But from that, I decided I was going to get into sales, and got into insurance sales, did extremely well with insurance sales. It just bored me to tears.
Sure. Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah.
Got into mortgage. That did not bore me. I could finance your doghouse.
Really?
That's how easy mortgage was back then.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I built several very large teams, and did very well in mortgage. But then the bubble was about to burst. I get this phone call. I'm like, Chuck, you got to get out. I mean,
it's 2008.
Yeah, it was right around 2007, 2008. Yeah. And they're like, you got to get out, and you got to get out now. And so
who was it that had the insight to tell you that?
So it was an economist, because we were pretty big in the mortgage space, and a good friend of mine, and he's like, it's going, and it's coming down hard. So another friend of mine knew about a newer company called Bathfitter, and so I came into Bathfitter, and it was, that's how I got into home improvement.
That's where it started.
Yeah, so I was the director of sales and marketing for one of the largest franchises, which from that led me to work with a lot of the other franchises.
I've always gotten a kick out of that title, Director of Sales and Marketing.
Yeah.
Because they're two totally different fucking things.
Two different things, and both like
how much marketing did you actually do?
Actually, I did very little. I did what we call, I like how Tony Honey calls this, go get it marketing. And because it's not like your mass marketing. We had a company that did all of our mass marketing, but what we did was the shows, events, anything we could do to reach out and grab them and pull them in, I was over top of those.
So that was where your background started with your experience in retail.
Yeah.
Right. Because you're kind of known for that, right? You're known for like a really good retail process, if you will.
Exactly.
Correct. And I think that for people watching and listening that are in my space, right, in the roofing space, because it's probably 60-70% of the people that watch, but that retail game is the one that everybody's trying to figure out.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you my take on it, and I want to see what you think, because we've been trying to do a better job at selling retail. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what I have found is that we have to learn how to educate our markets better because I'm in storm markets, right? Mm-hmm. I talked to a guy like Ty, out in PA, and he does millions and millions and millions in retail. And he's like, I do fucking retail up the ass. And I'm like, right, but you don't get fucking storms.
Right.
So everybody's already conditioned that they take care of their own property.
That's correct.
Right. And that it's 1975 again for everybody else. And like, you take care of your own shit. You replace your roof or your siding or whatever.
That's right.
When it's time to replace your roof and your siding because you have a problem. Where everybody in my markets are so storm conditioned, it makes it significantly harder to just go, yeah, we're going to go sell fucking retail because now we got a process. Well, that's cool, but we still have to overcome this whole, well, we'll just get a storm in a few years type of thing. And it's like, my insurance will pay for it. Right. And it's hard because it's like, maybe, and that's 75% of our business might be storm. Right. But how do you talk to a company that's in a historically, storm environment to say, how do we flip it on its head so that we can be sustaining over time? Because we might go 3-4 years here without a good storm, right?
Right.
We've been lucky because we've been around for so long that everybody knows who we are and we have good relationships. And so we can still stay afloat. We're not going to have that big banner year, but like we can still stay afloat, pay the bills, and everybody can make money. But like the mistake that I made when I went to Houston was I forgot that nobody knows who the fuck I am down there. And so when I open up a location there, I'm like, oh, everybody doesn't just know us.
Right.
Right. And that's very much a 50-50 retail storm market down
Houston
there.
Is.
It's very split, right? It's very split. But you still get the homeowners who are like, well, I'll just wait for a storm.
Right.
I'll just wait for a hurricane, or I'll just wait for X, Y, and Z. Right. But what is your conversation with those kind of people, with those kind of companies?
So this may shock you, but most of our roofers are in storm markets.
Okay.
And so we still have a lot of roofers that are
because they want to learn retail.
They want to learn retail.
So that doesn't surprise me, but go on.
And so when we talk to them completely different than somebody that's in Ohio, PA.
Right.
Because when you're in an area that is predominantly retail, it's a different process.
Right.
Inside of storm markets, you still have to give the illusion that you're giving that homeowner the option of whether you're going to work with the insurance company or if we're just going to take this thing and we're going to use a trade partner to guarantee the job. But we have to look at this as we're the contractor. And this may shock many, but most homeowners, that's what they want. They just want somebody that's going to fix the property and get out. That's really it. They really don't want someone to take a hold of the insurance company and figure it all out. They really don't. They just want to be able to get the roof fixed and hand that invoice over to the insurance company. And how we know this, well, now that we have clients all over, Florida, Dallas, and we, from there, even back in Ohio, I mean, we were not even allowed at Able Roof. We were not allowed to work with insurance companies. Our CFO was like, no, we're so much more expensive than what the insurance companies would pay for. And so, we would go in, we would charge what we charge, and then we would just hand the invoice over. And how we did it was we did give that homeowner the option. Bob and Mary, we can do this one of two ways. We can go the insurance route if you'd like. It's going to take anywhere between 4 and 8 weeks before you can ever get your roof on. However, we can also go fast tracks. And let me explain what fast tracks is. And so what we do there is we let them know that we can get their roof on in 2 weeks. All we need is to get the insurance company out. They approve everything, and then we just get the roof on, and then we bill them. Most of the time, the finance company that we put them with will pay for it, and we're out.
Right.
But
then it's on them to make sure that they get everything that's due to them.
That is.
So what's the kickback on them then getting pissed off at you because they didn't get what, like, it's very much explained in the beginning, like, you might not get it all. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we never ever.
Because I mean, you got to set really fucking good expectations on the front end, or you're screwed, right?
Because there's two ways of doing this. Obviously, yes, you can finance it. What we suggest is that you upgrade them. That way, they know that they're going to be paying more.
Right. Okay.
And there's not that big fight at the end. But we've been very lucky, and it's in many areas. It's not just in Ohio, but it's in many areas where we've just given the insurance company the invoice, and that's been paid, and they pay it. Not every time.
Not every time, no.
But many times, I would say more times than not, as long as you're not dumb,
right.
Like, oh, it's, $1,200 a square, which our PA companies are over $1,200 a square.
Yeah.
But, if it's reasonable, as they say, customary and reasonable, that they would usually go ahead and just pay it.
Out of all the industries that you've worked in, which one do you enjoy?
I like roofing.
Yeah.
But baths is my favorite.
Is it? Why?
Well, with baths, it's a need and a want. So when you go in, it's not that it's easier to sell, because you're selling a wet space only for anywhere between $12,000 and $25,000.
Right.
And it's an acrylic. So when we go in, that customer thinks that this thing's going to be no more than $3,500. Then we come in with $12,000, and we tell all of our clients, this is what the expectation is going to be, and you need to step them up. But again, that is one of my it's not that it's easy, but it's more fun. When you're in there, you get to design, you get to work with the homeowner. There's not a time constraint. And you're not dealing with insurance companies.
Yeah. Because that's me. That's why I love working on the commercial side, because 60% of what I do is retail, 70, you know what I mean? Like I love having commercial conversations, because I get to educate, and I'm not always, and we do commercial insurance claims work as well.
Right.
And those are usually the bigger ticket ones. I mean, obviously I like those, but I like being able to educate the client. And at the end of the day, for me, like when I'm coaching my team, everything that we teach and coach here is like, we don't sell shit. We educate.
Right.
We educate, and then we give them options and tell them, here's what you can do. Here's the pros and the cons of both ones. Which one do you want to pick?
Right.
Right. Based off the education. Right. And here's a book that our owner wrote on how to choose a contractor. And here's
phenomenal.
You know what I mean? Like that. That's why I wrote the book. When I first wrote them in the beginning, I thought it was just going to be like a really cool business card to be able to hand out on the doors.
Right.
But then I wrote the second one for commercial building owners, and then I realized, like, one of our core values on our wall was education. And I'm like, it's not only education for our people that work with us, that work for us, but it's for our clients. Like, if we're not educating them properly, like, we're not doing our job, right? That's the whole, people want to understand what they're buying, right? I mean, we love buying, but we don't want to be sold.
Right.
Right. And as a sales guy, like, we love buying shit, right? Just don't want to be sold. And the hard part too is, like, when you have somebody try and sell you something, do you just laugh a lot of the time? Because
I try not to.
Yeah. Because you're just like,
I actually enjoy it.
Yeah. But I'm like, I know what you're doing. Like, fuck it, just talk to me. Like, just talk. But so then I put myself, and I think that that's how I'm being perceived as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's kind of a hurdle, to come over to when you're coaching these guys too, is to make them understand, like, most people don't understand the nuances of what you're doing. Right.
Right.
Because that's a hard thing to grasp, but you do it for so long, and it's like, no, I know what you're doing. Just talk to me. And so I think that's that middle ground of figuring out and being like, don't be salesy, have the conversation to educate. Right. Let's take a second and let me tell you about SMA Support Services. We use SMA Support Services in our company. We have a multitude of virtual assistants that are all managed by people at SMA. They make sure that all your people are on task and doing the work they need to do so that you can be doing the things that are revenue producing for your business. If you don't know about SMA support services and you don't have any virtual assistants inside of your company, you need to check out SMA support services.
Right. And I'm going to go back. You said people like to buy, they don't like to be sold. People like to be sold as well. They don't like to be pressured.
Right.
Nobody wants to be pressured. Even people like me, even sales trainers get upset when we feel like we're being pressured. Mm-hmm. Now there's times when I'm like, okay, can I learn something from what's happening here? Oh, I learned a lot. Mm-hmm. I didn't enjoy what just happened, right? But I did learn something from the interaction. That's why a lot of your sales trainers, we do like to get into those conversations with people. Is there's got to be some nugget that I'm going to pick up, something that you've learned along the way that I haven't heard before, not just sitting in a sales class waiting for the next big thing to come out.
So what got you into sales training? Why did you pivot into that?
So when I was in mortgage, I did extremely well, and there was a lady that came to her name's Tanya, and I was in a company called RT Mortgage, and she comes to me. She goes, "Chuck, you got to help me out. If I don't figure this thing out, I'm going to go back to just being an executive assistant." And I says, "Well, I don't exactly know how to train you. I don't know what to do, but I'll put you under my wing. We'll figure this thing out." And so once I was done working with her, she's now doing the same thing I'm doing right now in mortgage. She did so well that she goes around the United States speaking.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So once I got done with working with her, and I even told my wife at the time, I says, yeah, I make phenomenal money, but I had more fun working with her and watching her go to a level that she was scared.
Right.
But when she got there, I mean, she stood taller than she ever thought she could.
Right.
And I says, that's what I get more enjoyment out of. Even the money doesn't give me that.
That's fulfilling.
Yeah.
Like that's truly fulfilling.
And that's what's hard to find. You're going to find so many coaches and trainers. The problem is they're all in it for the money. They're all in it to feed their ego, which is all well and good. We do whatever it is we do to feed our ego. It is what it is. But what we are looking for anytime, this is why it's hard to find other coaches, is what we're looking for is people that have a passion for watching other people grow.
Yeah.
Not to build somebody up and say, look at what I did.
Right. And there's so many out there now, right? Like that it's a hard, because we all need, it's something I talk about a lot. Like we all need coaches in our lives.
You do.
And I hate the word, I hate it when people start using the word mentor though.
Yeah.
Right? Because
it's completely different.
Well, because mentors are free. Mm-hmm. And I love mentoring some people, right? But like, I like to mentor the people in my business, right? Like I mentor them. But like, if you're going to take time from me, like hour blocks of time,
right? And
I'm taking away from my family, my business, from whatever I'm doing, that has to be compensated, right? And then you have to figure out, who should I be giving my money to based on what, right? Mm-hmm. And to the previous point, like the field now has become, I don't know if saturated's the word, right? But everybody thinks that it's, maybe I should say it this way, everybody thinks that it's easy.
Right.
Right. And it's fucking not. It's hard. And I don't do what you do, right, at all. I love helping guys like get through some different stuff. And so I've been through a lot of shit, right? So like I like to be able to talk to guys and help them, whether it's in roofing or it's life or whatever it is, right? Like I love being able to do that. But to be able to navigate that really can be hard. But what everybody needs to know though is that like you have to have somebody in your corner. Right? Because if you think that you can figure it all out on your own, you're fucked.
Yeah.
And you're going to move so fucking slow is the other thing, right? Like who was somebody that helped you?
Well, somebody very well known is Jim Johnson. And
Sure.
he helped me to understand the coaching model.
Was he a mentor or a coach?
I would say he's more of a mentor, but worked hand in hand. When you say I'm co-founder of Top Rep, he's the other co-founder.
Right.
And so when you look at what him and I have done, we've partnered on a lot of things. And then I also came into Contractor Coach Pro and learned how to understand coaching. Before that, I would come and spend a whole week in your organization, and I realized that I didn't have to. I didn't have to spend that much time away from my family.
Right.
Could work with a number of people. And
Do you think you did that so that they felt like they got the value, though, of you being there?
Yeah, because I was like, well, who's going to pay attention to somebody that's not sitting right there with them?
Right. And for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
Right. Because I get that little feeling every once in a while too. If somebody's like, I want your help. And it's like, well, we can do an hour Zoom and I can fucking do a lot of shit in an hour Zoom. If we can break down what your issues are,
correct.
Like we can solve these problems pretty goddamn quick. Like you don't need to pay me $10,000, $20,000 to come fly in for a couple of days just to sit there. Like if we break down your now you have to show up with what it is that you want to work on.
That's right.
Right. And I think that's the other thing, now that we're talking about it, that's the other thing that I think a lot of people, they go into a coaching relationship and they're like, tell me what I need to know. Right.
That's training.
And right. And you go in and you realize that when you realize that everybody is so unique, right. And you have to be able to figure out, no, what is it that you need so that I can break it down. Right.
Yeah.
Because I've done this long enough. I've fucked up every way that is possible to fuck up, or at least I have. Right. The only reason that I'm able to coach people and help people is because I fucked everything up at some time in my life, in my business or in my life or whatever it is. And I've been able to learn from those things so that I can then teach how to not fucking do it, which the opposite of that would be the way to fucking do it. Right. Right. I'm not even sure where I was going with that, but finding that, answering the questions and figuring out what the question is that needs to be answered. I know you do training, but you also do coaching, right?
Right. And I've had so many people say, Chuck, when I come and get coached by you, it's totally different.
Yes.
This is because what I'm doing is actual coaching. If you go to somebody and they have everything structured, everything's laid out, and they don't really even ask you any questions other than where do you start, where do you end? You know, that's really just like a mentorship or a training. That's not coaching. And I've been very, very blessed to, when I was at Bathfitter, I had the opportunity of working with the godfather of coaching, which is Keith Rosen.
Okay.
And somebody turned me on to his book, Coaching Salespeople into Sales Champions. It is the Bible for coaching.
Really?
I've bought the thing 10 times. I've lent it out. I never get it back. I got smart the last time I bought it on Kindle, so I can't lend it out.
Yeah. What's the name of it again?
It's Coaching Salespeople into Sales Champions.
Okay, got it.
And he's written other books, but now he's coaching very large organizations like Discover Card and many. He goes to Dubai. He's a lot bigger than what we are now. But I had the opportunity of actually being coached by him. And if you've ever actually been coached, you wonder what you're paying for. Mm-hmm. Because what they're doing is actually just asking you questions, pulling it out of you, because you know what you're supposed to do.
You know the answers. You just don't know how to get there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so what we do at Top Rep is a combination. So I'm going to mentor you at certain times. I'm going to coach you at certain times. I'm going to train you at certain times. Mm-hmm. It just depends on what you need.
Yeah.
And who I'm talking to. If I'm talking to your sales reps or I'm talking to the owner or the leader. Yeah. So it's
what do you do with owners?
With owners, it's more planning and helping them to understand where they want to go. Because when it comes to scaling, we get it. Mm-hmm. And true scaling, not just, hey, let me show you how to sell. We understand true scaling. And here lately, or here just a couple months ago, had gotten the opportunity to sit down with Dr. Benjamin Hardy. You know, we were in a mastermind together, and he came, he spoke, and I got a chance to work with him, got an advanced copy of the new book, Scalable. I mean, it is phenomenal. But even from there, starting to learn more and more about scaling, even from where we were to where we're going.
What group do you like working with the best?
When you say group,
Owners, sales managers, reps.
sales managers.
Okay.
And the reason why I like working with sales managers is because we're going to get more growth and achievement out of a sales manager than anybody else.
Agreed.
The people that we work with least and people think we work with most, sales reps.
Yeah.
Because I want to work, I can come in and be the hero. We were just talking about egos, right?
Yeah.
I can easily come in and be the hero. The problem is I'm leaving. So we work with the sales managers first. And then a majority of the time, they say, hey, I got it. We're like, good. Because I can work with your reps and we can do a launch. And then I need you to take it from there. But many times we take them so far. We take the sales leader so far into the understanding that he's like, I got this.
Right. Because that's I think that's one of the mistakes that I made in the early stages of me trying to grow was I kept sending reps to stuff, right? Thinking that they were going to get it and come back and integrate it, but they didn't. And then I was wearing the hat of sales manager, but I'm not a fucking sales manager at all, because like a sales manager really needs to be an integrator to a certain extent, right? Yeah. More so than me is more of a visionary, type owner, right?
Yes.
I'm strategic for sure, but I'm not going to sit there and have that sales meeting every week or, whatever it is. And like, I'm not going to I'm horrible at tracking KPIs and keeping guys accountable. And, I can do it, but I fucking hate it.
Right.
Right. And I can go get guys the best sales training on the planet, but if there's nobody to hold them accountable to do the things when they come back, you're fucked. And that was a mistake that was definitely one of the biggest mistakes. And I know that there's people watching that are currently making that same mistake 100%, right? Because I did that in my Texas location. I had 3 or 4 different people that were supposed to be my sales manager, but they didn't do the things that needed to be done in that role. And so I recently just found somebody that I put into that role who I think is going to be phenomenal. And I can already see the difference, right, that it's making in that. And, elevating Mike, I showed you Mike's office, elevating Mike to that level. But having somebody that can hold your guys accountable so that if you do have a churn rate, or if you go through, you know what I mean? Like trying to find the right guys, that you have that repeatable process to be able to put them into it. Right.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why inside of our boot camps, that's why we bring the sales leaders in as well. And while the sales reps are dogfighting, we take the sales leaders into a whole other room. And that's what I'm doing in that room, is helping them to understand your sales reps are learning right now. When they leave here tomorrow, you have to take over.
Right.
And you can't just go get lazy.
But you market it more towards reps, though, don't you?
We do market it towards the reps, yeah.
And I think it is way more beneficial for the sales managers.
Well, it's gotten to that point where when we have 200 sales reps, we'll have 100 sales managers, because a lot of these organizations will send their manager, and they'll bring their manager back and they want them to train them, and we're fine with that too.
And I screwed up in the past, definitely, because I always just sent my reps.
Yeah.
Right. And didn't think about sending a manager, because they look at me and they're like, dude, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I guess so. You know what I mean? And like that's my initial thought. Right. And I know a lot of what you do, because we've all seen the clips, of anybody that follows you, is you do a ton of role playing.
We do a lot of role playing.
A lot of role playing. I think it'd be fun. Let's do some role playing.
We can.
Let's do some role playing here. Yeah. This will be fun. All right. You do this every day. So get it started. Fucking hammer me with something.
So, hey, you've done a great job, but we really just need to think about this.
About what?
Just need to think about getting this roof. We got a couple other people coming out.
Oh, okay. What are you hoping to learn from the new people that are coming? Is it a price thing?
I don't know if it's really price. I just want to know that if what we're spending is the right amount, and I want to know if there's other products out there that we just haven't heard of yet.
Like what kind of products do you think? Is there something you don't like about our product, or you think could be better?
No, I think your product is good. Just want to know what else is out there.
Fuck, you kind of stumped me on that one. That's a tough one.
It is tough.
That's a tough one.
And we have structured the rebuttals so that they're easy to give. They're easy to use. A lot of them are very universal. And really, it's to put it back into the homeowner. We don't handle objections anymore.
Right.
It's not done that way. And so what we do is we're going to take it and put it right back into their court. And before you know it, they run out of things to say. And it's a lot easier to get into the truth. So
it's, and this is what I coach my guys on, is that everything needs to be a question.
Everything has to be a question. Yes.
Right. Yeah, I get so, because we'll role play in some of our, like monthly meetings or sales meetings or whatever, when I dip in for fun, and I'll listen to guys just start spewing.
Yeah.
Right. Which as a buyer, you just check the fuck out. Right. Because all it is in your head is somebody being like, let me tell you how much I know and how cool we are.
Yeah.
And nobody cares. Right.
Right.
And so all I ever do is like, no, what question can you ask next? What question can you ask next?
It's nothing but questions.
Right.
There's only one, which is I need to get 3 estimates. That's the only one where we're going to have a few statements, but for the most part, we're still asking questions.
What are the few statements?
So
I've heard them all, but I just,
Well, when we're into the I need to get 3 estimates, we're going to remind them of what we call our pledge or our price assurance guarantee.
Right.
And so we're going to go back into, you remember me talking about that, right, Bob? That's when, if you can find somebody that does exactly what we do and exactly how we do it, and they can do it for less than what, we go back into that, and then we're verifying. But again, like, we have people that we work with all over the world. We Vin Gang, Jefferson Fisher. I mean, these are people that are conversation specialists. You would think that we would go to these sales trainers. Why would I go through a sales trainer? They already know what I know. I want to go find somebody that's talking about stuff that I haven't heard of yet, that understands conversations. And that's why, as of the last couple of years, we talk about having the sales conversation. We're teaching you how to have a new conversation with the homeowner. And then now we're also teaching sales reps how to talk again, because they talk really fast. Most of them don't know that they curve their words up, because if I'm talking to you and I'm talking to you just like this, that's not telling a story.
Right.
So we'll go through these
they really do that, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
But we have them curve their words down, and they look at you funny, like, that's how I'm going to sell. I'm going to curve my words down. I says, I want you to go onto TikTok, and I want you to look up Paul Harvey. I'm sure you remember way back in the day, just as I do. These kids today have no idea who he is. I said, you want to hear some of the most craziest stories? Go listen to Paul Harvey. And he's one of the coolest storytellers ever. But yet he always brings his words down. He puts his pauses in there. But again, we're just teaching them how to have a conversation in a different light. The other thing is not that we're trying to teach them how to win every conversation, but we want them to understand what's going on in the conversation. You go to a house and you can sense some tension. You can bring it down by bringing your voice down and slowing it down. Before you know it, anxiety starts to dissipate. The negativity starts to go away. I do this in my own house. I live with nothing but females. I now have a female dog. I used to only have male dogs because it was only me. So if I could choose, I'm going to choose a male dog. No, we got a female dog now. So now I'm it. My son's even out of the house. So it's me. So it's a circus there. And there are times when they're all arguing and they're like, what do you think, Dad? I'm like, I don't know. What do you think? You know? And before you know it, after a while, it starts to calm down.
Isn't it funny how many sales lessons you can bring into your home?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like all of them.
These sales reps, they only use it when they're selling. I'm like, you could use this in your,
use this in your relationships. Right. And like just how you talk to people, and not that you're trying to like trick somebody. You're just trying to change and influence, and persuade, right? Like if you're trying to influence somebody to understand what you're saying or where you're coming from, like you're never going to do it matching their high. You know what I mean? Like if you need to bring the tone, like you said, like if you need to bring the temperature down, I'll never forget. I think it was Tim that told me, or maybe it wasn't Tim. I don't know, but somebody was at an appointment and had a husband and a wife that were just fucking yelling at each other. And the husband like wanted to buy from Tim. I think it was Tim. I'll have to ask him after this. And the wife was just being awful to the husband about something. And then in the middle of Tim's presentation and sitting there and talking out on the back deck, she picked up a chair and threw it at the husband.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I remember that. And he had to leave. I'll have to ask him tonight, like what the actual story was. Cause I remember he's like, I decided it was time to go after that, but I swear he went back and he still closed that job, but not that day. Cause he still had to get her on his team.
Yeah.
Right. Like he did a good job. I had them both there. Right. But didn't anticipate a chair being thrown.
Yeah.
Point being is that you can take so many of these lessons to be able to do that. Do you because how many top rep events do you do a year?
We do 2 a year now.
2 a year. It
Yeah,
used to be more, right?
Yeah, we were doing 4 and 5, and
Right.
it was just too much.
And so in between that, obviously you're speaking and everything, but like what fills most of your time?
We do a lot of coaching.
You do.
Yeah, we have
And who's
several hundred
we?
clients. So now I've got a COO, which is Mike Alvarado.
Okay.
He was one of my sales managers,
Okay.
and he was just so good that I couldn't pass it up. When I sent out on social media that I was looking for a COO, and I wasn't going to take him out of the place, but I was very happy that he raised his hand.
Okay.
So I brought him on. We also now have a VP of sales. Ashley is amazing.
Okay.
And she came out of the SaaS world, but really took to home improvement very quickly. But really, it's just me and Mike that coach. And so we also have a membership so that we do most of our coaching through groups.
Okay.
Which at first I was like, I don't know if people are going to value the groups. What we found is a lot of these business owners, they didn't think about the questions that were being asked. They're like, "Oh, that's a good question. Well, that's a really good question. I didn't think to ask that."
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're doing the group coaching, there's a lot more value in that many times than the one-on-one coaching.
Yes.
Yes and no.
Yes
But
and no. Yeah. Because I struggle with it, right? Because like I have a group and I love doing it and we get a ton out of it. But then when I go into groups, I check the fuck out.
I do too.
I check the fuck out. And it's like it's so hypocritical of me too, because like I love my group. I love CCM and I love all the guys in it and I love us showing up every couple of weeks and the conversations we have and everybody gets something out of it and whatever. But like every time I've been in a group, I have a hard time checking in to it. You know what I mean? So there's like, and so I personally need one-on-one coaching, right? And I think there's just certain people that just, they need that.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
You're going to need certain people that do the one-on-ones, and we have a lot of them. But we do things a little differently in the group. So we don't just, it's not an hour-long conversation.
Right.
We have some questions that come up, but then we have a topic. So you might look at that topic.
Yeah.
And there's times when we have small groups and there's other
Right.
times we'll have several hundred in there. But that depending on the topic that we're going to be talking about. But when we started doing the topics, people started coming a lot more. They're like, "Thank you for the topic."
Yes. So who comes up with the topic?
So that would be either me or Mike.
Okay.
But it's very purpose driven, and it comes from the questions that are asked.
Questions being asked when?
So in our master class, not in our in our master class, it's because I think I think we invited you, but we get professionals in the industry that we just have that discussion, just a one-on-one discussion, but then we'll have all these questions. And when we have
Is that
questions,
the thing that I came to, that I spoke at? What was that?
yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And so those questions that were being asked, when we get them twice or 3 times, those go into a pool, and then we start looking at those. Like if that's asked multiple times, then there's something there. So then we'll take that and we'll make that a topic inside of our group.
Got it. Okay. So the masterclass, because that was live, wasn't it?
That's live.
And anybody can access that?
Yeah.
Okay. So anybody can access that. How often do you do those?
We do those every Wednesday.
So that's every Wednesday, but then you have a group that's a paid for group.
Yeah. And that's actually right before that master class.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Do people hang on to both?
So they'll jump off, and because one's in StreamYard, so they'll jump off and jump into the StreamYard.
Oh, they will?
Yeah.
Okay. And the group is for all 3 different phases of your business? It's it's owners, it's sales managers and reps, or is
just
it
the owners and managers?
just owners and managers?
Yeah, the reps have their own, and that's during lunchtime once a month. We have a 1 week a month that we do a training for new and underperformers.
Oh,
yeah. We had sales training, advanced sales training, and it was very spotty. Sometimes we'll have 2, sometimes we'll have 3.
Yeah.
But when we did the new and underperformers, we consistently have 60 to 100 reps in there.
Oh, really? And that's once a month?
Once a month, and it's different weeks, but it's always during lunchtime. We found out, because when we had them during the morning, everybody complained, well, that's my sales meeting.
Right.
If we had it in the evening, they're like, well, we run evening calls. And we're like, when do we have these calls?
Yeah.
But we're like, they got to eat. So we did it right around lunchtime, and we know that we're watching half of them sitting there eating their lunch, but they're actually paying attention. They're not driving usually. They're not driving.
Yeah.
They're usually sitting in a parking lot eating and being very engaged.
Yeah. What's let's get back real quick. The question that I said that I was going to ask that took me apparently 50 minutes to fucking get to, but the question that I did want to ask is, why do you do this now? Like, why do you love this now?
So over time, to watch, so I went into bath fitter and did extremely well at bath fitter. Then went into Able and Mr. Roof. We grew Able and Mr. Roof to where it was one of the largest, if not the largest, residential roofing company in the United States. And when I left, I had over 100 phone calls on my way home. And I told my wife, because I had an 1.5-hour drive, and I told my wife, I says, I don't think I'm going to go into another company. I think I'm going to try coaching.
Did you leave them?
It was kind of mutual.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, once I got back, I decided I was going to get into coaching. And so then I got into all different types of organizations, and we just kept growing them. Like with Bullet Roof, got in there at 3 million. I exited there at 18 million. Got into a lot of the rebaths across the United States, and we grew 14 rebaths to over $10 million.
Oh shit.
I mean, so again, same thing with a lot of the bath planets. We have a ton of bath planets that come to us. Now we have a lot of franchises. As of last year, we helped one franchise out of Canada, and now we have over 10 different franchises, these huge franchise models that come to us because we took them, blew them up. And it's just understanding the model. Mm-hmm. And it took a while because franchising is completely different.
Right.
And so once we figured out why franchises are always small, then we could figure out how to grow them.
So why are they?
So with franchises, a lot of times when you get into a franchise, there's a lot of misconceptions. You think that the franchisor is going to do everything for you.
Right.
That is so far from the truth.
Right.
You have 60, 70, 80, if not a couple hundred franchisees. They're going to do your marketing for you.
Right.
That's one thing that I never understood.
Right.
They're going to do all your marketing. They might do an infomercial.
Right.
But they're not going to do your marketing for you. They're not going to go out and get you business. They might have a call center, but there's only so much that call center can do when they have 100 franchisees to get leads for.
Right.
So that's one of the biggest issues that we find is they come in thinking the franchisor is going to do everything for them. What is a huge benefit in the franchise is that a lot of the systems are built. They've taken a lot of the guesswork out, and you have a lot of people that you can bounce ideas off of. And you need to find the ones, because they're still in franchises. You're still going to have them where they can't wait for you to fail. It makes them feel so much better. So again,
wait, who?
The other franchisees a lot of times, because it makes them feel better because they're not growing. So if you're not growing, misery loves company. That's what happens in a lot of these franchises.
Okay.
But
I don't know that world.
Yeah, it is a different world.
Yeah.
It is a different world. We had to figure it out. We had to figure it out fast. But once we figured it out, I mean, we have these franchisees that are just growing like weeds.
Do you think it's a good model?
Depends.
I mean, I know it's a hard question to ask because you work with them.
I do think it's a good model for certain people.
Okay.
Yeah. But you still have to be a business owner.
Yeah.
And a lot of the franchisors will take anybody.
Yeah. And I don't think they realize that you still have to be a business owner. Like you still have to know all of the stuff.
The really good franchisors will hold out until they understand that person is an actual business owner.
Right.
When most of the biggest franchisees they've never done anything in home improvement.
Right.
They probably owned a McDonald's or a Taco Bell somewhere, and they wanted to jump into this.
How many roofing franchises?
I only know of maybe 2 or 3.
I know Mighty Dog.
Mighty Dog. There's a B Roofing or something like that. There's Storm Guard.
Oh yeah.
There's a few.
It seems like that would be a harder franchise to get into, right? Like you can have your systems and your processes built.
It's the same. I mean, if you have the right partners, again, once you get in, you got to find the ones that know what they're doing and that are really good at it.
Right.
If you get in and you start looking around and you're going to attach yourself to all the smallest ones, they're all misery loves company,
right?
And they're all going to stay small.
Yeah.
So you need to get in and find the ones that are big and get into their organization. Don't just call them.
Right.
Fly out, find out what they're doing right, what the lessons they've learned.
Yeah.
Don't just sit back and wait for the franchisor to teach you.
Right. Because they're not.
They're not going to.
They're not going to. What's a story that nobody knows about Chuck that Chuck doesn't tell on other podcasts?
Oh, wow. When I was younger, I tried modeling and acting.
Did you?
Yeah, I actually went to LA, and through a thing called a Modeling and Talent Association. So, yeah. I'm sure everybody remembers way back when in every mall they had these tryouts.
Yeah.
Well, I did that, and I got in. And so we went out, we flew out, and we all like paired up at the Beverly Hills Bonaventure where they filmed True Lies.
Okay.
And so that was the hotel that everything was happening at, and it was probably one of the best experiences that I've ever been to.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't get anything, by the way. I didn't get anything. It's like everybody else that went got something, and I was either too fat. My face wasn't right, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was getting off of this. Sounds really weird when I say it. I was getting off the runway when you're walking down, because all these guys were big and bulky, and I had like no body. So, but I was getting off, and this lady like yells out, and even the guy I was with, who he ended up on a lot of the soaps and all, out of Dayton, Ohio. But we looked back, and this lady, and so him and I sat and talked with her. She had like the penthouse, but still to this day have no idea. Me and him talk every now and again. We're like, oh, it's a God thing. I don't know. But she sat down and talked to us for 4 hours about just going out and getting what we want. If you want it, just go get it. Stop asking for it.
Yeah.
And that changed my life.
Isn't that crazy how just like a weird little instance like that?
It was, and I've never waited for anything else in my life. If I wanted it, when we talk about the whole engineer thing, I went and got it. Same thing with anything I've ever done. If I wanted it, I went and got it.
What's your biggest failure?
Oh, biggest failure. I'd have to think about that one. Oh, wow.
You ever been broke?
I have been broke.
Like broke.
Yeah. So
as an adult.
Well,
because it's different when you're an adult.
Yes and no. So when 9/11 happened, I mean, we were pretty much abandoned. It wasn't like a golden parachute or anything like that. And so I ended up back in Ohio, literally in the hood. It's bad because I know some of these people are going to listen to this, but it's called Townview. And I mean, my ceiling was caving in. I mean, I could not have lived anywhere worse. I could have lived on the streets and probably lived better.
Were you single?
No.
You were married?
I was married, getting a divorce. She was still there. And my kids were there. I mean,
how many times you been married?
Twice.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I'm on my second marriage.
All right. Okay. I just like to compare. Okay.
But I've got 4 kids now. I got 2 with the previous and 2 with this one. But yeah, and I had to. Now here we go. I'm glad because so I had to lie to get this job. It was the worst job I've ever had, but there wasn't anything out there. And for me to go in and say, oh yeah, I was an aerospace engineer. I was trying to get a job in a freezer. Literally, I had to look like an Eskimo it was called Power Logistics. It's Hormel meat.
Yep.
And so
we have a Hormel plant up the street.
Yeah. So you get this order.
Yeah.
And you're on this stand up forklift, and you go and you pick meat and throw it on this skid all night long. Yeah. And here was the fun part about it was,
I want to hear how you had to lie to get this job.
Well, because every other job I went for, you're you're overqualified,
right,
overqualified.
Yeah.
So I went from being the engineer or an engineer to I was the janitor at Learjet.
Oh.
If I'm going to go for this job,
yeah.
then I was the janitor at Learjet. Well, they found out. And here's the
after they hired you?
Yeah. And here's the fun way of how they found out was I didn't really mix well. For whatever reason, didn't mix well. I won't get into that. But so I always ate by myself, and I was on third shift because I sold insurance.
Why do I feel like this is a racial thing? Did you not mix well because you were white and because you said you lived in the hood?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. Facts are facts, fellas. Like, it's fine.
Yeah. But anyway, I sat and I ate, and the plant manager would come in, and him and I would eat together.
Okay.
And so he started coming in really upset. And I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he says, well, I've got this problem. I have to pass this thing called Six Sigma. And I'm like, oh no, because I'm a black belt in Six Sigma. Six Sigma is it's called lean manufacturing. So it's taking a manufacturer and doing more with less. And so it's just like karate. You have all these belts, and as you go up, and when you get to be black belt, you're a master in Six Sigma.
This isn't a physical thing. This is a mental thing.
It's a mental thing.
Okay, so it's a smart kid black belt.
Yeah,
got it. Okay.
Yeah. And so I had to ask him. I said, "So what level are you at?" And he said, "I'm just starting out." He says, "But I don't understand any of this stuff, and if I can't figure it out, I've already been told that they're going to replace me." Well, after about 3 days of him whining and complaining, I says, "Man, I got kind of a confession." I says, "I think I can help you out." And he goes, "Well, how?" I says, "Well, I know Six Sigma very well." So we worked for a couple of weeks on getting him into understanding Six Sigma. Once he understood it, he fired me.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I was just going to say, there's two different ways your brain could have went there, right? I mean, my brain immediately went to, I could probably go take his fucking job.
Yeah, I didn't want it, but yeah.
No, but like, it could have went there. And so did he fire you because that's what he was afraid of?
No, he fired me because I lied on my application.
Get fucked, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And so 2 years after that, I came back in, and I knew the lady up front, and she goes, "Oh, he's going to love to see him." I'm like, "Oh, I bet he is."
Yeah.
And so I came walking in his office, and it was funny because the GM or whatever the higher ups were in his office, and I come walking in, and his eyes lit up. He's like, "Hey, man." I says, "Man, I just wanted you to know, you firing me was the best thing that ever happened." I says, "I am using this story on over 100 stages across the United States."
Really? Mm-hmm. And you tell this story?
When I'm talking to the youth, I talk about how, I was way up here, came crashing down. I says, when you come crashing down, you bounce sometimes.
But you don't tell them the part where you had to eat by yourself because you're white.
No.
Okay.
we get past that.
Sorry.
We get past that part.
All right. We can tell that part here. Yeah. That's really cool. And he took that.
He loved it.
Yeah.
And now as of today, when I see him, which isn't very often, but whenever I see him out, he'll shake my hand, and it's a good, fun discussion. Now. But now he sees where I'm at now, and he's like, "Dude, this is insane. You went from, making $10 an hour, literally $10 an hour just to try to keep that really crappy place to where I'm at today."
Because it's a real thing, because when we're running ads, and if I get a resume and somebody's like got a bachelor's degree, I throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do. Like for sales, right? Mm-hmm. Like for a sales role, I'm like, there's no fucking way they're going to be hungry. And I shouldn't think this way all the time, but I'm like, they're not going to feel hungry. They're going to feel entitled, that they're entitled to something because they went to school and they paid for it. And so they're going to come in here and think that I'm automatically going to give them 6 figures a year just to fucking show up. Right. And I throw away every single resume that comes through my desk that has a bachelor's degree, unless it's for some higher level type deal. Right. I mean, it's an interesting story because of that though, because it is very, I don't know. Did you lie or did you lie by omission?
I mean, I guess
you did lie because you said I was a janitor.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's.
I mean, it's not like I went up. That's for sure.
Yeah. But it is a real thing. I mean, it's something that we run into a lot, right? Because when you're hiring sales guys, you want to hire hungry guys.
You want hungry people,
right?
Yes.
But then the trick is not to drag this out, but I just love talking to you. The trick is to keep them hungry.
Yeah.
Right. It's easy. I shouldn't say it's easy, but like it's easy to see their eyes light up in that first year or the first 2 years or whatever it is. Right.
That moment and I tell every one of the sales reps that I personally train is like, there's going to be a time when you're driving home from a deal and you're going to start laughing. You have no idea why you're laughing. I need you to give me a call. That was the day that you just get it. Mm-hmm. That you figured this game out. Mm-hmm. I said, that's the day I want you to give me a call. Because everybody says, how can I ever repay you? That's how they can repay me. I want to know when that time is that they're like, I get it now.
So how do we keep them hungry?
So that's another thing is they think that most business owners, they think that all I got to do is pay these reps. That's what they want is money.
No.
You know, what they want is to earn something other than money. Sometimes it's earning that next tier. Like we never give our shirts out. You know, you have to make it through training. You have to go through the final exam, and if you pass the final exam, then you get your shirt. Mm-hmm. And you know, so I did a talk for Home Depot, mm-hmm. and I'm asking them about their awards, and I says, I want to hear something from somebody where you got an award and it still means something to you today. A guy stands up, he's got this suit on, and they still have those bibs. When you go to their corporate, it's funny. They have their suits on with the bibs.
Yeah.
And they have all these pins. And he's talking about this pin, and it's going through my head that I paid a sales rep $5,000, literally counted it out on the desk in front of everybody, and for the exact same thing that guy got a 50-cent pin for. And I still don't think that sales rep remembers that.
No.
But that guy got a 50-cent pin and still.
Dude, they forget what you paid them the fucking minute you pay them.
Yeah.
The fucking minute.
Right.
You give them a bonus, gone.
Right.
Am I wrong?
No. And people still, they think that's what drives reps. Here's what we did, and it was the best thing that I've ever done, was I went back to my sales reps, and I says, all right, we're going to do things a little bit differently. You guys are going to pick the tiers. You guys are going to pick what you get, but it cannot be money.
Right.
And so what happened was when you come into the organization, once you hit 1 month, in the same month, you hit $100,000 in the same month, then you get a brass balls keychain. I found these things on Amazon. It's 50 cents. HR approved it. I was shocked that they did. But now it's the keychains. And what they do with these keychains is when I bring a guy up and I give him his brass balls, then everybody takes their keys out of their pocket and they slam them on the desk. I'm like, dude, that is beautiful.
Yeah.
And it didn't even come from me. They did this. So it's like, welcome to the team. You couldn't even talk in a sales meeting until you got that award.
That's super cool. I love that. I'm doing something with that.
If you come into our sales room, there's these, and it's purposely done this way. There are these plaques all around, and all it has is the guy's name. There's something else on it, but I'll tell you that. The guy's name and the date. But there's nothing there. Like, we get people all the time like, what are these for? I'm like, I can't tell you. You have to be in sales, and
it's like
you have
the
to
CIA wall.
Yeah. And so what it is it's a plaque with a cat's ass coming out of it. And when you sell $500,000, and it's higher now.
Yeah.
But when I was there, that was it. That you had, once you sold not in a month, but when you crossed that line, you sold $500,000, then you got your plaque. And then when you're presented, you start laughing because you're like, that's what those plaques are. You're not allowed to say what that plaque is for.
Oh.
Until you get it. You have no idea why everybody.
You have no idea what they are.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's fucking awesome.
And then again, it's higher now, but back then it was $1 million and we had the BMF wallet. Only it actually said it. Bad motherfucker.
Yeah.
And so that's what they wanted. And I found these, you can get them from China. It's probably a lot more expensive now.
Probably.
But we got a bag of them and I paid maybe $1.50 per wallet.
Yeah.
And those guys loved them.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. If you didn't get anything from tips on that right there, because like I'm stealing some of that shit, like because some of those are really, really good. So the way that we love wrapping up these episodes is I always want to give the stage back to the guest for a couple of reasons. One, a lot of times we go down fucking rabbit holes and I forget to close the loop and bring it back and make sure that everybody got what it was that the guest wanted to make sure they heard, or the guest shows up with something that they wanted to bring to the people. I'm an idiot and forgot to fucking bring it up. So I always give the floor back to the guest for the last 3 or 4 minutes of whatever it is that you want to make sure that everybody listening and watching gets from Chuck.
Really, I just want, I've never shared half the stuff that we talked about today.
Nice.
I go in, I talk a lot about sales training. We talk a lot about the differences because a lot of what sales trainers bring in is a lot of PDFs and systems, and that really doesn't make anybody successful. People are like, oh, the systems and the processes. Yeah, but it's the how and something that's coming, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send it out, but something that's coming. And we got a chance to get to know the guy behind the curtain on this. But I'm sure you've heard of DISC.
Yeah.
It's the personality profile. Well, what we have found that is more important than DISC is, in fact, their why. Not the whole Simon Sinek why, but understanding if you knew when you brought a sales rep in or you're thinking about bringing them in, is what is their why? Do they really want to help people? Or what is their actual why? And we're starting to find out right now how much faster we can train when they have the right why coming in, not just the right personality. You need them both.
Yep.
But we and we're going to be bringing this in. I'm sure that there's some other trainers that we know that they're going to encompass it as well.
Nice.
But again, there's a lot of new stuff coming in that will help a lot of organizations across the United States, not just in home improvement, but in all sales-based organizations, to help them understand the new direction that everything's moving in.
For everybody here that is bringing on a new sales manager, the first book they need to read.
So the very first book is The Ideal Team Player by Patrick Lencioni.
Okay.
Understanding Humble, Hungry, and Smart.
Okay.
And so that is the very first book. The second one would be the Coaching Salespeople into Sales Champions from Keith Rosen.
Okay.
And I love, and you guys, I saw you guys have it here. I think you guys have it. Yeah. The Power of One More.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love Ed Millett.
Yeah.
But when he came out with that, I was like, wow. Because we teach a lot of it, but he goes even deeper when he's talking about the identity and some other stuff. I mean, that's another one that I would definitely.
Yeah, he's the one that actually inspired me to start speaking more. When I saw him at one of the very first roof cons, and he told the story. I have it on a slide at the event that I spoke at in California last week. And there's the quote that when he was talking about what his definition of hell is. Have you heard this?
No.
Well, you probably heard it, but his definition, and I'm going to butcher it, but his definition of hell was when you die and you go wherever you believe you go, and you're talking to whoever you believe you fucking talk to, looking back and realizing that you were chasing that version of yourself that you were supposed to be and you didn't get there.
Yeah, that's hell. Yeah.
Right? He's like, that's my definition of hell. And I was like, fuck. I don't know why that hit me so hard. It was probably a combination of that and telling a story about his dad and all that kind of stuff. It all just kind of intertwined at the same time. But that hit me really, really hard. And it's kind of the crux and the basis of the things that I do and that I teach and that I coach and that I talk about in my book. is there's so many of us as we look on social media that are all pretending to be something that they're not, because they want attention or they want validity or they want, you know what I mean? They're missing something, right? They're missing something. And they think that if they exude something other than what they are, they're going to get it and they're going to gain it. And in my mind, that's such a sad existence, right? Always trying to be somebody else and trying to be something else and not being okay with you, and then like doubling down on you, right? Because to me, that's what people respond to. I also have come to the realization finally over however many years that like, it's also fine that pushes people away. That's what it's supposed to do, right? You're not supposed to have everybody love you. Right. Like that's not the game here. Right. It's not about it's the quote that I use when I speak. It's an old Sam Kinison quote, or at least that's who it's attributed to, but it's not about the whole world liking you. It's about a small percentage of the world that fucking love you.
Yes.
Right. And like, I'm cool with that now. I'm sure there was a time in my life when I wasn't, right? But there's so many people that are chasing everybody liking them instead of having a smaller group of people that fucking love them for who they actually are.
Right.
And when you break through that, like that's true freedom, right? To be able to do and say kind of whatever the fuck you want, as long as you're not going out and hurting people, right? Like I say whatever the fuck I want, but like I'm not going out and hurting anyone, and I'm not saying anything to like intentionally harm, or you know what I mean? Like people might think so, but it's because they don't listen to fucking context and they're assholes. But truly getting to be me, and when I lose relationships because of it, being at a point now in my life where it's like, yeah, okay, that was supposed to happen, right? And like I'm okay with that. Just the fact that you brought up my Latin, that book, everybody needs to read that, you know, for sure. And one of the first books that I make everybody read before they work here is and this is Paul actually gave me this, but it was, brain fart. Raving Fans.
Yes.
Raving Fans is phenomenal. Like that's a
great book.
Everybody should read that. That goes into any company. And then the very first Jocko book, Extreme Leadership. Because the one thing that drives me more crazy than anything else is hearing people make excuses and blame other people for their fuck ups.
Yep.
Right. And until you can actually just own everything, you're stuck. You're stuck until you can own every mistake and be okay with it. Right. And be able to move on with it. But Chuck, thank you so much for being here.
I felt like that was like 5 minutes.
I know, right? I mean, that was awesome. One of our longer ones. Yeah, it was hour and 15. Thank you for being here. Like, I love getting an opportunity to be able to sit with people that, you know, like we know each other, but we don't know each other. Right. And getting an opportunity to get to know somebody better, spend real quality time together. We got, you know, more hours together that we get to hang out. It's a privilege to me. And especially when I get to do it with somebody that I respect, because I do, I respect the fuck out of you. I respect what you do. Again, we said this in the beginning, there's a lot of people in this space that try to do what you do, and do it at 30%. Right. And the sad part of it is, and still make money and still trick people into thinking that they know what the fuck they're doing. And there's only a handful of guys. I tell everybody that I know that gets into this business or is in this business, I'm like, look, man, I have met with or talked to 80% of everybody that does something in this business. And there's only I can count them on my hand how many of them are legit, that know what the fuck that they're doing. They're not going to screw you. You know, like if you don't get anything out of it, it's because you didn't fucking do anything with the information that they gave you. And you're one of those people. And so I want you to know that. I want everybody watching to know that like, if I'm looking for what you have, like you're the fucking guy that I'm going to first every goddamn time.
So you mentioned something huge, and it's that, you know, with what we know, with what we can teach, And here's the reason why is because, and I was just telling somebody last week, is I don't consider myself as, the coach, the guru, any of that kind of stuff. I consider myself as a continuous student of sales that doesn't mind letting everybody else know what I know, because I'm never going to turn it off.
Right.
There's always something that I learn. I work with a lot of people in the industry. I work with Adam Bensman a lot. I mean, the guy's a genius.
Yeah.
And so there's things that I pick up from him. There's stuff I pick up from like Tommy Mello. And, there's things that I haven't heard of yet.
Yep.
And that's what I'm in search for.
Yeah.
I'm that guy that's always searching for something I haven't heard of yet.
Yeah. I always equate that. The analogy that I always use is the most annoying fucking person to play golf with is the person that fucking hits that shot and they're like, I figured it out. And then they go shoot 95. And I'm like, you didn't fucking figure shit out. You didn't fucking figure anything out. Like you hit one good shot.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what this all is. Right. It's
Right.
like, don't be the guy that hits one good shot and then tells people that you fucking figured it out. How are you going to be consistent and consistently learning so that you can consistently get better? I'm 46.
Right.
I've played golf since I was 6 years old. Right. And I don't have anything figured out. Right. I can play well and I can score well. And some days I fucking don't.
Oh, I
And
suck.
then I take that information though, and I go back to try and figure out how am I going to make sure that I play better
Right.
in that next fucking match that I'm playing in, right? Or that next round that I'm playing in. There's so many sports analogies that I obviously use with that, but like it's being a consistent and constant learner in that. And I love that. I love the fact that you brought that up. So Chuck, thank you so much. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Thank you, SMA, our sponsor here, SMA Support Services. If you need VA help, back end help, it's the only company where the fuck. So for all those other companies that I've met with and I've talked to that I've told you that you're great, you're not as great as they fucking are. So anybody that needs VAs in their business, you need to be talking to SMA Support Services. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Like, share, do all the shit that you're supposed to do. I don't know. I don't like asking people to do things. I don't like asking them to work with me. I don't like asking them to I don't like any of that shit. Like I get assistance to be able to ask for all. I don't like asking for people to do that shit, but do all the stuff that you're supposed to do. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. And remember everybody, all you really have to do is be authentic or get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Get the fuck out if you can't be authentic. Yeah. Swipes.